Yo, we're off to do something. It is Friday, 12:38 in the PM. We're off to do something pretty epic. And you're along for the ride to see what's going on.
Well, it happened. I'm picking it up. They're in there doing the paperwork and everything right now, but look at this bad motherfucker. It is never going to be this clean again. Come out nice and shiny. The engine is, and the transmission. Yep, will never be that clean again. This thing is out of control. I would be screwing with it right now, but the keys aren't in it. Dang it.
Finally, we're going to work on the ProR a little bit. All right, here's the ProR with a factory 32-inch Maxxis Rampage Furies. That's what it looks like. This will be the last time it looks like this, at least for the tires. All right, here's an up-close look at what the design of the knuckle. It's got its own standalone bearing unit on it, on the ProR. That's pretty neat. I gotta get all these stickers off because they look tacky. These tie rod ends, pretty massive. My first time looking at it. That sway bar is gigundous. The steering unit's huge. I mean, everything's massive on it. I think it's 1310 series U-joints on the front of this. Or I think probably the whole thing. Pretty freaking neat. There's the locker unit for the front diff, that little electronic thing, so that's what makes it, basically turns it into a spool. Alright, I decided, since I already got the snow tires mounted, I'm just going to mount those up. Because everything's got to come back apart once I do the next thing, which you're going to see what it is, just wait. But I wanted to get these dismounted so I can get them sold. And try and recoup some money, no? There's no point in not selling these, because I'm not going to use them. Alright, here's the rear all taken apart. Here's this goofy little arm Division Whopper guy that's supposed to help with, you know, tire alignment and whatnot, and that's gonna go away. Sneak peek. Anywho, the rear looks like it's a separate bearing hub assembly. I guess I can kind of see why people do limit straps on these things. When this thing is at full droop, I mean, look at that frickin' CV angle. Rowdy.
Well, maybe we will do limit straps. I'm not sure.
But anyways, we're making progress. We got the fronts on, and we got the passenger over there. I just got to put this last one on there, and let's see what this thing looks like. We'll get it settled down on the ground as well. All right, here's what it looks like with the 33-inch high lifter Outlaw Maxes on it. Those will be the snow tires. I already had those mounted up, so it was easy enough to just take the factory ones off. They're only 1 inch taller than the factory ones. This thing should be able to paddle through snow pretty good, I would say. These are 2-inch tread depth right here. And these, in case you were wondering, these are Expedition wheels. Exact same bolt pattern, and the hub, which I was worried about, the centering bore of the wheel is the same. So that's good. That's what that looks like. Ready for some snow or some mud. God, it's so clean though. I don't want to even take it outside. It's just going to stay in the shop forever. No, it's not. I discovered that the center cap on these is bolted on. So don't try and tap it out like I did. I didn't screw it up, but I was looking at it a little closer and it's bolted on there.
So we got the glass, you seen that. It's clipped on there. It rattles really bad, so I gotta figure out why it's rattling. But anyways, all of these parts I just keep shuffling around. These door bags keep moving around. Probably need to mount those up. This right here, Aftermarket Assassins. This is a clutch kit. I basically bought all the goodies. This is the hat for the primary, supposed to help with flexing. I got the helix for high load because a lot of rock crawling, and we're putting 35s on it. They're over there. See? Those are 33s for the snow, which is going to be high load. 35s for everything else. So we got the helix. We got the weights. Big Mama Jammas. It's fully adjustable. And we got the springs, and we got a sticker. So that's pretty cool. So figured I would just start with putting that on there. Something I learned, these bottom ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are like a quarter turn. These ones are all bolts, which is great. Well, look at this. That bolt's fun to get to. Not even. So using a ratcheting wrench on there. The other thing that I noticed, I kind of don't care, but I kind of do care, is this stupid cup holder keeps just popping out of there really easy. It doesn't want to stay in there, and I don't know why, but it just pops. I don't know why I care about that, but I do. It's annoying. Anyways, let's get this cover off of there and put this clutch kit on. Got the secondary off. Surprisingly super easy. 15mm socket on this bolt. Make sure you keep the shims with it, because that's what does your spacing for where your belt centering. But it comes off in 2 pieces. So this is the outer and this is the inner. So you're supposed to get a compressor tool, which is just a piece of all thread. Well, I have this one, and it's from SLP. It's for an XP1000, so this is a little big for it. But I'm gonna try and use this, loosen these bolts, and then release the spring tension. If this doesn't go right, then I think I've got some all thread on the bottom of that bench over there, so I can make the same tool that they've got. But I was hoping I could just use this tool. So hopefully this goes okay. Maybe I'll set you up for video just in case it doesn't, and then you could watch it and be entertained, and I'll be pissed. All right, these 3 bolts are a 16mm. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, that tool works okay. Just got to be careful. So this is the first time I've ever taken this apart, so just making sure I got things right. See this X that I put on there? I did that on purpose, so it said to mark the inner sheave with the outer sheave. So I put a mark on this, and then the outer one I put a mark on. This way when I put it back together, it's aligned. You can tell it's got 3 miles on it. All right, so this is how this all goes together. Let me grab the other spring and the other helix, because we're only going to reuse, I think, this And then this bottom bushing, I believe, is the only thing we're going to reuse because we got a new helix. All right, so I did buy the butter washers, is what AA calls them. So these are going to go on top of each other in the new helix like this. How I know that is because I read the instructions. I know, freaking weird. Okay, so this and this are the factory helix and spring, so we're not using that, but we are using this guy. This is the Aftermarket Assassins secondary spring. So that's just gonna go in here. This guy's gonna go on top. We'll put this there. And then we can put the shift back on it. I did watch the video and I read on the documents, this doesn't matter the clocking because this is already balanced. So you don't need to mark it because this is a new helix. You can't mark it anyways. So now we've got to use our compression tool, line this up, compress it down, and get our bolts in there. All right, and it says torque those to 45 foot-pound. 45. All right, I didn't record me taking the factory one of these off the primary because there's not a whole lot of room in here, but 10 millimeter. And then this rotates counterclockwise when it's in normal operation, so it spins that way. So what I did is I just took two off, pushed it, took two off, pushed it, because I was using this impact and there's not a lot of room. And then that comes right off of there. So now I can take the weights out of this and put the Aftermarket Assassin ones in there, and then I could put the new top hat on there with the new spring. All right, we got the weights in the primary. Now we got to put the spring and the top hat, or that's what I'm calling it anyways, in there. I always like to use a little bit of blue Loctite on stuff because I've had lots of things come loose. So I'm going to grab some of those, put this guy on, put the secondary on, and then the clutch kit should be done. I'll have to test drive it to make sure we're between 8,200 and 8,400 RPM, I believe, is what AA says. Aftermarket Assassins, not Alcoholic Anonymous, or I think that's what that's called, right? AA? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's get back to this RZR stuff. Clutches are back in there. And the next thing, since we've already got that apart, is this. What is this? Well, this is the belt temp gauge. Look at that snazzy thing. I probably should have got a black one, but this is what I got. It's silver. I suppose it'll probably be okay. It's gonna go up here somewhere, so I got a bracket for it. Okay, so we got to take the center console apart. We got to run wires, so we got to figure out how to do that now. I got the driver's side of the center console out of there. Let me tell you how annoying that was. You had to take this out, those three screws, that one screw, and a screw here, screw there, screw there, screw there, and then hidden up here, there's one of those little plastic little push lock things in there, and you can't hardly see nothing. So that's cool. Skylar's out here helping me. So since I got the center console out, I got some goodies. We're gonna put a winch on it, right? So we got to get down here to the power bar thing. I forget what Polaris calls it. Anyways, we got to get to that for the winch, the light bar, street legal kit, belt temp gauge, and since we had to take the center console out, we got to get to that to put the frickin', well, it's underneath all this mess and I ain't moving it. But I got something else that I'm going to put in there. So, anyways, this is all the wiring for all this. I tested it out. You do not need to put this switch on here. All this switch does is when you click it, it just connects two wires on this harness, which is this harness here, and it dims or brightens the gauge. That's all it does. So I'm just going to install it, and then I'll just, you know, little click, 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 clicky to whatever I think is right. But where I'm going to mount the belt temp gauge is there's a little thing that comes off of here. So what you got to do, look in the instructions, is you got to pop this off of there, pick those four bolts out right there, and then this whole gauge cluster comes out. So that's what we're doing right meow. In the clutch housing, which I already took apart because we just did the Assassins, Aftermarket Assassins clutch kit. And took the secondary back off and the belt back off, and I learned some stuff when I was doing that. Anyways, when I had the belt installed, I measured to the center of the belt. And as you can see, I already poked a hole in there. Maybe not super easy to see. I already poked a pilot hole in there. You can see where my pen mark is. But I gotta open that up to a 1/2 inch. The reason why I picked there is because that is between a couple of ribs on the housing. So it should be a little bit stronger, and it's kind of out of the way, and I can get a drill bit in there. That's really the only reasons I did that. That's where I'm putting it, is right there. Oh, and I found that there is a channel in the center column. See where these electrical wires are right here? Those go down underneath this to here. So I just followed that with this as the belt temp cable. So let's get a 1/2 inch drill bit. Poke that hole out, put the sensor in there, and then we'll run this up in place. I'm going to run the excess wiring up to the front. You can see there's kind of a loop there, I think, so it's long enough for a 4-seater. But let's get that done. You know, things escalated. Okay, so don't judge me. Anyways, here's what the ProR looks like right now. All of these plastics, taking them off. This is all loose so that I could do the street legal kit, and I got to have this loose to do the blinkers. Oh, that's neat. Might have to look at that. It's right underneath the plastic where it's going to get pinched. So I don't know that I like that. Might have to reroute some stuff that they did at the factory that looks weird. I don't know about it. Anyways, took the whole dash off, and holy smokes, is it way easier to get to the frickin' what do they call that? The pulse bar? Way easier. Alright, so we got to finish doing the power for the belt temp gauge. We got the belt back on there. I didn't show you that. I got the belt back on there and I moved it because I had to play musical cars and do a bunch of other crap. But anyways, got that back on there. And it does move with the new clutch kit. So that, you know, that's something. I tested it out. I rolled it back 20 feet and rolled it forward 20 feet. So we got to do, let's finish up the belt temp gauge, which is going to be a wire here. Follow this guy, power down to the bus bar. And then let's do the street legal kit, which incorporates a whole bunch of wiring I got to run everywhere. And then let's do the winch, which incorporates taking even more off the front of the RZR. I figured I want to try and do everything I possibly can do under the dash, and then I'll put it together once. Oh, we got to do the light bar too. So that means we're taking the light bar off of the blue RZR because that's a badass light bar, and we're going to put it on this. I do have some brackets. I might have to do some customization because that's kind of like an oddball size. I think it's like 33 inches or 34 inches. And the brackets that I got for this are for like a 32-inch bar or something weird. I don't know. Make a freaking standard, all right? It's 30-inch, 32, 34. Why is there so many sizes? I don't know. Okay, I'm getting worked up here. Let's fix this because I don't like that at all. Look at that. Freaking, it's gonna pinch that wire, and that's a little tiny baby guy wire. Let's just pop this fender the rest of the way off and fix that first because I don't want to forget about it. All right? Okay. See, this is where this wire was. That was what I was concerned about. But look at this. There's clearly a pocket there for that. And even stick it on there. So I'm going to go get a little thing of double-sided sticky tape and suck that down on there. Tie this wire down, something like that-ish. This must be the antenna for Ride Command. It's either that or a solar panel that hides under plastic, so I don't know. Anyways, let's keep going. All right, I'm not done with street legal kit, blinker kit, and all that, but I got the rear light harness in there and zip tied up, following the factory harness, so it's hard for you to tell it's there. It's running through the tunnel, zip tied up in there. And then I got mostly everything plugged into this. There's just two things that aren't there. I think one of them is a four-way control and the other one is horn. I don't have the horn hooked up yet, but I do have the power plugged in, and then I have the power plugged in for the belt temp gauge. So let's test it and make sure it works. Oh, I did learn something, because we learn things every day. I learned this here guy, see how it's got a red, a black, and then a blue that's cut off real short? Well, I just assumed that the blue one was the I don't know what I was assuming. I was just assuming that the harness that on the belt temp gauge was red and black. I needed to hook it up to red and black. Well, red is constant. We don't want the belt temp gauge on constantly. So I'm assuming that the blue is a switch power. So right now, the belt temp gauge is not on. So I wasted a plug. But anyways, the belt temp gauge is not on. So if I turn accessory key on, oh, that turns on. Sweet. So then that's reading 61 degrees right now. If I put my hand underneath it, my hand is warmer than the ambient temperature. Look at that. It's working. So now I want to see, I gotta turn the key all the way on, and I want to see if our blinkers work. Well, I think they are blinking, but the dash doesn't say that they're blinking. Look at that. That's snazzy. Is the rear one blinking? Okay. What about the other side? Alright, it is blinking. This one, so it is. That's working, but the dash does not know that it's blinking. Oh, remember how I told you I'm kind of got it done, but not really done? I didn't put the harness in there for the gauge cluster yet. So okay, I'm still not done yet. I've been screwing around with this for a while, but I'm running the wires really clean so it looks nice. Anyways, turn the key on. I still didn't do the wire that ties it into the blinkers on the gauge. All right, we got the horn working. Look at this. It's horny. And we got the rear license plate bracket on there, and it's got a little LED in it. Look at that. That's mounted up and looks good. Blinkers do work. The only thing that I have left to put on there, and I have a whole bunch of extra parts, but I think this is kind of a universal razor kit, is I've got these guys. Don't know what those are for. I got this, don't know what that's for. I got this, don't know what that's for. I got this, don't know what that's for. I got the freaking hazard lights. Hazard lights on a UTV. This thing isn't going to be a daily driver. I don't care. I got these. I mean, I don't know what those are. But anyways, this is the wiring that goes into the gauge. So you got to pop that apart, and then this plugs in up here. So I'm gonna go eat dinner and then probably work on this stuff tomorrow. Oh, I just noticed. Look at the front. So the blinkers, it outlines the headlight. Look at that. Okay, so then when we turn the blinker on. Okay, I was trying to show you this, but the battery died. But look at, this is the blinker that comes with the kit, and it's switches. Snazzy. Okay, done for tonight. I'll come back here tomorrow. All right, I know this is weird, and you just see a light like a UFO is coming at you, but it's for a reason. So we're in the shop, and it's dark in here. If I turn my headlamp off, it's dark. But the reason why we're in the shop and it's dark in here is the belt temp gauge, which is right here. It's got wires on it that allow me to dim it. And you could hook up a switch and do that, but I don't want to have another freaking switch in here. I don't want a switch in there for that. So I'm just gonna get it to the right brightness at night, because usually it's too freaking bright at night, and I want it to be right now so that I could just hide the wires under here. So that's what we're doing. Let's turn this off. So it seems like it's a little dim right now. So what I'm looking at is the interior lights, the gauge cluster and stuff, and I just want them to match. I want it to match the brightness of that. That's actually too bright. I'm gonna say that that kind of matches. I'll pull you back so you can see. So, see the belt temp gauge and kind of the brightness of everything else? That's what I'm going after. So that's why I'm doing this in the dark. Because I want to make sure that everything is the same brightness. All right, I'm gonna go turn the shop lights back on and get back to it. Next up on the list is the premium pre-runner front bumper kit. That's what it says. Don't make fun of me for talking in a super cool voice. That's what it says, and I said it. Got this because... where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I don't know. Somewhere in this frickin' disaster, there's a winch. It was actually the winch that I ran on the Blue Razor for a while. But since I'm selling it, I took it off because I didn't want to buy one again. With this guy right here. And according to the interwebs, it won't fit. But I'm gonna make it fit because this is a badass winch. This thing works really good. So we gotta get the front of the Razor Tour apart to put the new winch on there. Try and mount this in that winch because this thing is pretty big and bulky. So anyways, we're gonna work on that now because that's more wiring, and I didn't tie up any of the wiring for the front blinkers yet, as you can see right here, because I'm gonna have the winch wiring that runs over there too. One thing that I notice about this that I don't like is the brushed look on it, because see how we have this like murdered out look going here? It's gonna kind of throw it off. Although I guess it kind of goes with the tie rod ends. I don't know, maybe it'll be okay. The shock shafts are silver. The knuckles are silver. Maybe it'll help break it up a little bit. All right, let's figure out how to take the factory front bumper off of there. I am following instructions. I know, don't judge me. It's an expensive machine to be breaking clips off of and stuff. So I'm following the frickin' instructions. Kiss my ass. I got about 2 minutes into this winch install, and I realized that the winch bumper does not come with a winch mount. How stupid is that? So I need to order that, so I can't put the winch on there. And it's Christmas week, so I ain't gonna get that anytime soon. Whatever. So I'll hurry up and order it right now, and then maybe I'll get it at some frickin' point. Dumb! Alright, so the frickin' winch bumper doesn't come with a winch mount. Then I go to do the light bar. And the frickin' light bar brackets, they don't... It's not... I'm gonna find something else that I could do that I actually feel successful. What I did for this little wire that the fender was pinching is I put some double-sided sticky tape there, and I stuck the wires to it. This way they stay in that spot, and they don't come drifting up here where that fender will pinch it again. So I don't know if it's needed or not, but I really like double-sided sticky tape. Apparently I use it for freaking everything. I got this tied down so this loop isn't sticking up in the air. This is for the horn power. I ran it up here because it's just clean and it's out of the way. I'm kind of like not feeling a whole lot of motivation today because I ran into problems, and then I'm feeling like a baby, you know, because I want to pout that I ran into problems. I don't know why. Sometimes you pout, you know. So I found a bag of M&Ms. I'm eating those to get some motivation, and if that doesn't help, then I might just eat another bag of M&Ms. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it takes us. The paper instructions that Viper Machine sends you with the ProR, the pictures aren't that great, so I figured I'd just record it. And I'm going to learn as I go, so I'll probably edit some of my mistakes out. But hopefully this will help you out if you're installing a Viper Machine gated shifter. This is what mine looks like. It's all silver, which I don't really know how I feel about that since everything's black. But maybe since it's in the interior, it'll be okay. I don't know. I mean, I got some gray and stuff in here, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Anyways, let me get you mounted up. We'll take some stuff apart. We're reading the instructions, but the pictures are about worthless in their thing. They're not color, so I don't know. They're probably great for other people, but I'm dumb, so anyways. All right, so the first thing it tells you to do is remove this panel, which I already did. Then you got to remove this E-clip. Don't drop it. I'm just going to throw it in the box. Then you get a slide the shaft to the passenger side and remove that E-clip. We'll try to use this little hook guy to hook the passenger side C-clip out. Preferably we want to do it without dropping it like I just did. So hopefully I could find that again. We're never going to find that again, are we? So don't drop the C-clip like I just did. Now I'm going to look for that for a while. I found it! It was in the skid plate. I just took the skid plate off. I've got to do that to put the new one on there anyways. And I found this nylock nut. Look at this. It's a brand new one. I can tell because the nylon in it doesn't ever even have any threads going through it. Anyways, let's get back to it. So the next step is slide pivot pin out on the driver's side. Slide pivot pin out. Then unclip both shift cables off shift lever. Do not break the plastic clips on the cables. Oh, I see these little clips. Well, how does that come out of there then, huh? I think we need some schneedle nose. All right, so these little plastic clips that they're talking about are these guys right here. So if you rotate them, see how there's like two little tabs on there? I'm just gonna try and pinch that with the needle nose. So you're just gonna have to trust that's what I'm doing because you're not gonna be able to see. And it says don't break them, so I'm assuming they're easy to break. Okay, so I pinched it. It actually wasn't too bad at all. Rotate that out of there. The bottom one is harder to get to. So maybe I can get to it from here. And then the cable just slides over to the side. Once I get this out of here, I'll show you. Okay, so once you have those clips unclipped, it says, remove top bolt next to top of shift cable. Well, I don't know which one that is. Is that this bolt? Remove spring nut that secured the shift console. Well, I know that part. That's this guy right here. That's the spring nut. Install center console support bracket as shown. Which piece is the support bracket? Oh, that must be this guy. So let me figure out. The pictures on the instructions, like I said, are not very great because they don't have any color. They kind of suck. Oh, it is this top bolt. So this little bracket goes in there, and the reason why you got to remove that bolt is to slide this bracket in there. So let me get a 10mm so we can take that off. You got to remove this bolt because it protrudes through there, and you can't get this installed. So this goes in from the front of the RZR, sticking towards the rear. Don't drop it like I just did. I'll get you in there so you can see. So that bracket goes in there, and then this is the other part of it. So see how that's machined out? So this is going to go in like this. This aligns up with that right there. So let's get that mounted. Probably going to put some blue Loctite on them because I don't want them to come loose. And I did put blue Loctite on those. That's just aluminum, so I'm not going crazy with tightening it. So now it says reinstall the top bolt. Was this little 10mm guy. Insert nylon bushing into the new shift assembly. So here is the new shift assembly. So I am assuming they mean insert the nylon bushing from the old one, or the original one, into this. Well, I never got the original one out of there yet. I don't know if I'm just not smart enough to do this, or it doesn't seem like it wants to come out of there. Okay, so I kind of had to wedge it in there because this bracket, but if you take it and you twist it just a little bit, it pops out of there. So I'm going to take a drift and push these out and push them into the new one. Here's the bushings from the factory one. I'm going to push those into here. Oh, I might have to use a vise. Well, they're kind of going if you squeeze the crap out of them. Okay, you got those in there. Attach shift cables onto new assembly. Be sure plastic clips are in place. Okay, so now it doesn't tell you that you got to reinstall this, but that seems kind of obvious. Now we got to make sure that we have it in there correct. So see, this is where the cables go, is in there. So these need to go towards the driver's seat. So you need to install it like this. Don't install it like that because the cables are over here. I'm fighting is I'm trying to get this huge block into that very tight area there. That's all welded together, so I need to figure out how to position that so that it'll slide down in there. Also doing this while trying to keep the shift levers out of the way, or the cables. You kind of got to go straight in because the width of this is the width of that opening. Kind of wedging it a bit. Come on. It really don't want to go. It really don't want to though. Yeah, see, I'm just scratching it pretty bad there. We might have to shave some material off of right here because we are just chewing this thing up trying to get it in there. I don't really want to, but if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. This is a 25 model, so sometimes they change stuff. I think I was reading something online where this whole bracket right here is different. All right, I took the grinder and I ground that corner down. Let's see if it fits better. It kind of helped. We need to take way more off though. I think we're gonna have to take some material off of that. As much as I don't want to, I think we're gonna have to. Ta-da! Yeah, I know, I'm not excited about freaking grinding on that thing neither, but it is what it is, alright? Now the dang thing fits. Alright, the next step is to get the shifter guys back installed. So, trying to do that now. Not very easy to do. How do you even do this here? So what I did is I had to move the entire linkage. I don't have the pin in there yet, but I moved the entire linkage back. More of the cable exposed out of the sheath. Now I'm trying to push the little yellow retainer guy in there. Yep, I'm still trying to get this stupid clip in there. I'm really having trouble getting that on there. I have to use some needle nose maybe. I mean, if this is how annoying it is to get the upper one in there, I don't even know how annoying it's going to be to get the lower one in there because you can't even get to the damn thing. Alright, got the top one in there. Working via braille here. I might be able to get to it from the driver's side on the bottom. So this is what I'm trying to get in. See this little yellow guy right here? You gotta clip that into the new bracket. I'm trying to do that on the bottom one. See how you can't even frickin' see the damn thing? So I left out with the top one, and I kind of used the ball to push the clip in there. Problem is my fingers not strong enough to do that from this angle. Viper machine, this is a nice looking unit, but good God, is this annoying. It better frickin' work good is all I gotta say. Oh, did I get it? Hopefully I didn't break it. I just kind of forced the crap out of it. I think we're okay. Now we gotta slide our pin back in there. But one thing I'm noticing is we're a little off alignment there. Okay, so now it says attach the shift cables to the new shift assembly and make sure the plastic clips are in place. Slide the pivot bolt from the driver's side to the passenger side. We've got to get it adjusted enough to be able to do that. It does say shift cables will need to be adjusted. Remove cable guard behind driver's side rear shock. Okay, so the instructions say adjust both cables so shift lever is in the neutral position on the shift base. So I think what I'm going to do is just loosen these up here so that I get enough play to put the pin in there, and then I'll shift that to neutral. So we got to go far enough that it goes through the passenger side, and we can get the E-clip back in there. See if we can push the E-clip back on without dropping it. E-clip's back on. Slide it back over to the driver's side. Put the driver's side E-clip back in. Ta-da! Okay. Now we got that in there. It says place the machine in neutral. Now we need to put this cover on there. Make sure that the machine is in neutral. So then that's easy enough to do. You just do two clicks back from park, which it should be in park right now. Maybe it's not, I don't remember. Apply dish soap onto rubber boot neck, slide boot over shift lever and secure. All right, I'm not using dish soap. I have some engine assembly lube that I lube that up with. Man, that thing's got to really stretch over there. That slides down there like that. Let's go tighten that back down back at the transmission. At least get it close. And then once we get the center console back together, we can readjust again. So it thinks it's in neutral right now. It is. And then that should be low. So if we turn it this way, yep, see the machine wants to move forward. That should be reverse. Yep, okay. That should be park. Okay, so we're not gonna finish putting that together until I could put this side cover back on. And I'm not gonna do that yet because I think I'm gonna order a set of rock lights. Because I just really don't want to get back in this and do it again. So I think I'm just gonna order a set of rock lights. Put a couple of lights back here. I'm still trying to figure out how many I want, because I was thinking to put a couple back here, maybe on a different switch for a dome light, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I need to figure it out. All right, so that's how you do the Viper machine center, what is that called? The Viper machine gated shifter. That's how you do it. I did edit some cursing out of there because it was kind of annoying to modify some stuff, but I get it. It's a new machine. They changed things from the factory. Maybe Viper didn't know that yet. So hopefully this video will be helpful for you. In my attempt to get more shit off of the floor, I emptied that box and emptied that box. Those are these. So they're Polaris factory lock and ride storage box, which is pretty nice. Pretty big, lots of space in there. How you get these back on there with this cooler in the back is kind of annoying, but anyways. And then the cooler, which is pretty disappointing. It's pretty small, but my own fault. I should have done a little bit more research. I mean, it's better than nothing. The main reason why I got the Polaris stuff was for two reasons. When I ordered this, I couldn't find anything specifically for 25. I think everything for the 24s fit, but I was a little nervous. And I like the way that looks. It just looks like that belongs there. I didn't want anything flashy that looks out of place. So that's what I picked. If you don't like it, I don't care. It's mine. All right. And yeah, I was using these as a step as I was trying to reach those guys back yonder ways. Anyways, worked out pretty good. Got 2 more boxes out of the shop and on the RZR. All right, I keep getting bump alerts on this that the battery is low. And when I plug in the battery tender, it flashes red saying it's not charging. So I dug into it and I looked into the fuse panel and I found the charge is this one right here. So I took it out of there to look at the pins to see if anything was corroded or whatever. Apparently when I put it together, come on, look it. See how the one on the right, it got pushed back so the fuse can never touch it. I gotta take the fuse panel out of there, push that terminal back up this way so the fuse can actually make contact with it. What a dumb problem. I probably should disconnect the battery before I do that. There we go. So see how that wire's recessed? Well, the frickin' harness, when they plugged the fuse in, they must have pulled that or something. So look at this wire. I can get it to move. See? So I'm going to secure that so we can actually charge when we're using the charging port. Anyways, pro tip. All right, this is the outro for this video. I'm sitting on the couch editing, and I got the puppy sleeping on me, so I couldn't go out to the shop. But there is more coming. Hopefully some of this stuff helped you out. I've already started working on some more skid plate install. I need to do the suspension stuff. But for right now, that's the end of this one.